Hey guys, how you doing? Dave Moore here. Just want to talk to you today about the struggles and the benefits of being a left-handed shooter. Basically, I'm left-handed, so there are a few things that I have, a few things that I do that have helped me that might be an advantage to right-handed shooters in some aspect. Most of them are negatives, but there are some positives. One positive, right off the bat, is most people are right-handed. So if you're in a physical confrontation with somebody, so you're wrestling around, you're fighting, and they're going to grab for your gun, well, chances are they're going to grab for your right side. That's where the gun usually is. Now if they feel it, that's a different story. But most of the times, if I'm fighting with somebody and they're in front of me, they're right-handed, the gun's going to be here. So as we're fighting, I'm going to try to grab for that side. Well, in that case, they grab for that side on me, they're getting magazines, which I guess you can hold, punch, still break your hand. So at that point, you can just, blade out, boom, boom, boom. If you need to use lethal force. So again, consult your laws, and you need to determine if you need to use lethal force, what would constitute that. I am not here to tell you that, but for the sake of the video. Going along with that, a negative is you can buy a Glock holster for any Glock. I mean, really, from the 9mm 40 frame, 45, 10mm frame, you can find them anywhere in abundance, but they're all right-handed. So you have to find one left-handed. Now, I've been lucky. I found some pretty good holsters, like on eBay. I got a Safariland 6400 series Raptor, left-handed for a Glock, 22, 23, 19, 17. On eBay for like $40. Now mind you, brand new, that holster, number one, is discontinued, which is a shame because it was a great holster, but I got it for when I was in the police academy. Well, great holster for duty, not concealed carry obviously, but I got it for like $40, 30 or $40. I got a left-handed Glock Golden Goodrich Gold Series 15-degree can, the FBI can, on eBay for, I think they have them for $20 brand new. And those holsters retail are $80, $90, $120, $130. So good news is you can find the holster for whatever your application is. You can find it probably on eBay for cheap because nobody wants the fucking thing because everybody's right-handed. So you can get it pretty cheap. But you can't always find them. Now mind you, I found those holsters with hours of searching. You search left-handed holster, left-handed Glock holster, Glock LH, left-handed. I mean, you gotta change your search criteria, but you can find them, and they're usually cheaper because, like I said, they're just trying to get rid of it. Nobody wants it. They ask their buddy, "Hey, you want this Safariland Raptor?" "Oh yeah, what is it?" "Oh, left-handed." "Okay, no, I don't want it. I can't use it." So that's a benefit, but the negative is the abundance of all the holsters are usually right-handed. So to get one that's really common, probably going to be right-handed. Getting Kydex made, you have to specify in caps left-handed, because I mean, I've ordered mag pouches, rounds forward, common for the left-handed shooter. Well, the person packing the order grabbed the right-handed ones, so I got it was rounds back. I'm like, well, this isn't it, because actually, I really wanted them. I was kind of annoyed because I was shooting a IDPA style meet the next day, and I really wanted those mag pouches, but I got the left-handed rounds rear, but the right-handed version. So you have to watch it. You have to really specify left-handed, because if they're not paying attention, especially with mag carriers, and they grab just whatever off the shelves, it's right-handed, it's not going to work for you. So I guess that's a positive and a negative. Getting left-handed holsters, you could find them cheap, but sometimes they're not as, well, most of the time they're not as abundant. So, I guess another positive would be left-handed corners, right? Most people right-handed can't do left-handed corners, but then negative is right-handed corners. So, I mean, if you're in an entry team and you're left-handed, then you're always going to take that left-handed turn. So, for instance, you're in an entry team, you're going to be the one turning right because that's a left-handed corner. So, being stacked up with other people, it can be an advantage because you have, you know, the strength in the left hand and strength in the right hand. But, you know, take it as you will. It's kind of me rambling. Glocks. Glock Gen 3s do not have the switchable mag release, so you're kind of limited to getting a Glock Gen 4, which I like better anyway, but switching that mag release. Negative to that, or positive to the Gen 4 is ambi mag release. Negative to that is, well, all guns are right-handed, being that it ejects rounds to the right, which is right in your face, especially if you shoot from retention down here, right in the face. You have a Gen 3, you can't switch that. You have a Gen 4, you can switch the mag release, but then if you grab a Gen 3, you're not attuned to using your finger like this to eject it. So it's kind of a downfall. Do you want to switch the mag release to left-handed, or do you want to keep it kind of similar to where you just use, instead of your thumb, you use your middle finger? That way you can grab any gun and do it. So that's for you to decide. I have a Gen 4 and I switch it around. So that's really, you know, a few things right there. So I talked about a few positives, a few negatives, but I've kind of found that it's more of a positive, in the aspect that there's certain things that I do that make it a little easier that a right-handed person might not have the advantage to do. For instance, on an AR, okay, this is my Stag Arms Model 2 that I built. Basically, most people, if you like ARs, you're going to have ambi everything. Ambi mag release, ambi safety selector, la-di-da. But you see like Costa, he's right-handed. You know, he's pew 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 pew. He looks into the chamber, then it ejects a magazine. That gives that mag flip. It's not a mag flip, it's just him looking in the chamber, flipping it. Well, he has to look into the chamber, right? Well, if you're left-handed with an AR, pew 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 pew, you're looking into the chamber. You can see the chamber. You can watch the bolt move. So I think that's positive. You're not having to flick the gun around. You just tilt and look, or just kind of look and see it. A downfall of that, though, is all the gas is going right in your face. Brass deflect, you're not getting brass in your face, but all that gas is kind of going right in your face. So, but who cares? It doesn't bother me. My view is also kind of the same on a shotgun. So you have a shotgun, you're shooting, pew pew, you've got that breech right there. So if you want to do a slug changeover, you know, it's open, grab a slug, it's buckshot, but imagine it's a slug. You can see it. It's easier to get in there. Whereas if you're right-handed, you have to tilt it the other way. So even though these are technically right-handed guns, you can utilize them better sometimes being left-handed. On a Glock, yeah, the port, the breech is right here. gonna get rounds in the face, but who really cares? Deal with it, right? As far as reloads, so snap caps, slide locks to the rear, insert a magazine, rack, pew pew. Well, if you get this little nifty $20 accoutrement, the Ghost Ink bolt forward slide lock slide release lever, bolt forward, which is designed for people who shoot thumbs forward, being right-handed, you can just easily get it. But being left-handed, this gives an advantage, because you can get a reload, finger off the trigger, you can rest your knuckle on top of it, which will naturally sit there, insert the magazine and push down, and it releases the slide. If you rest your finger on it and you insert the magazine hard like you're supposed to, it kind of helps release itself. So, my reloads are a lot faster than most right-handed people. Number one, I practice them. That's number one, really. But instead of going magazine in, pew pew, boom, that quick. Given that you have a slide release that protrudes out like that. Don't even know if you can see it. Whatever. So, reloads just boom, like butter. You have to practice that, because if you get too excited and you push too hard on your index finger, it'll release the slide before it picks up that round out of the magazine, which is bad, obviously, because now you're going to get a click and you have to tap rack, boom, again. So, that's one thing. Another thing. Something else is the ejection port does open to your right side. Well, being left-handed, you can really see into it. If you tilt it, you can see into it a little bit better. Plus, if you're trying to clear double feed or something, if you're right-handed, to get the ejection port down, it's awkward. You have to kind of tilt out. That's not how I hold a gun. But if you're left-handed, it's easier to tilt it down, because you're going to naturally have somewhat of a little cant. So it's already kind of pointing down. So to get that brass out of there, it's already turned down. You can just get it out of there a little better, in my opinion, whether you're doing it like that or however you do it. So it's easier to get the ejection port facing towards the ground, to get that bullshit that's in there out. So that's another thing. Now mind you, this is just me kind of rambling. Being left-handed, I kind of feel the need to try to help people out, because there are things that I've done, that I've learned, that I feel, especially that reload, that bullet forward slide release, just simply, you know, pew pew pew, eject the magazine, and it's in. I mean, unless you have like an M&P or a Beretta, to where when you hit it hard, the slide will go forward on its own. Glocks don't do that. So you kind of got to help it. So that, to me, that's one of the biggest benefits. Now, if you don't have that slide lock, you can't do it unless your fingers, you can squeeze it in there, but it's not going to be as fluid and as efficient. So I recommend, if you're going to want that method, I have a video on it, that you get the Ghost Ink bolt forward or something of the like, so that your finger can easily rest on it. I mean, it's not hard to just boom, boom. So, I mean, really, even locking the slide to the rear, so pew pew, finger off the trigger, you can lock it to the rear just by give it a little bit of force up, and it locks. Instead of having to get your thumb, it's just easier. Easier. To me, it's easier. Mind you, this could just be me being delusional. I don't know. But that bullet forward thing has really helped, especially being left-handed. Being left-handed on an AR, you kind of got to have everything backwards. Your light's got to be on your side. You got to have ambi releases. But the good thing is, a lot of times AR magazines won't fall out on their own. So if you're left-handed and you practice changing it by just stripping it, a lot of right-handed people do that anyway. But they have to use their index finger. So I feel it's easier to just come up and just grab it like that. But that's up to you. I've had good luck being left-handed with a shotgun and pistol. So there's just a few things. I really don't have much else that I do differently being left-handed, besides carrying everything on the opposite sides. Being in a car left-handed, driving, your seatbelt attaches here, you still have good access to your gun. Now you got the door there, but you can get up and around the door and then go around the steering wheel without having to undo that seatbelt. Now you should undo the seatbelt, but you know, pew pew pew, you can reach in and get the seatbelt. You have to still practice getting it around all of your stuff, but you have easier access to it. Now if you're in the passenger seat, you're just like a right-handed person driving, so you have to practice both ways, I guess. But I mean, it's really also the action release on a shotgun is easier to hit if you're left-handed because it's right there. But then